My name is Damien Echols, although it wasn't always. At birth, I was different in both name and essence. On December 11th, 1974, when I came into the world, I was named Michael Hutchison at the insistence of my father, Joe Hutchison. My mother, Pam, had a different name in mind, but my father would hear none of it. They argued about it for years afterward. The hospital where I was born still stands in the small, rundown town of West Memphis, Arkansas. It's the same hospital where my maternal grandmother, Frances Gosa, died 20 years later. As a child, I was jealous of my sister, Michelle, who was lucky enough to be born 2 years after me across the bridge in Memphis, Tennessee. In my youth, Memphis always felt like home to me. When we crossed the bridge into Tennessee, I had the sensation of being where I belonged and thought it only right that I should have been the one born there. After all, my sister didn't even care where she was born. My mother and grandmother were both fascinated by the fact that after I'd been delivered and the doctor had discharged my mother from the hospital, I was placed in a Christmas stocking for the short journey home. They kept the stocking for years, and I had to hear the story often. I found out later that hospitals all over the country do the same thing for every baby born in the month of December, but this fact seemed to be lost on my mother, and it marked the beginning of a lifetime of denial. After saving the stocking as if it were a valuable family heirloom for 17 years, it was unceremoniously left behind in a move that was less than well planned. Other than the stocking, I had only one memento saved from childhood: a pillow. My grandmother gave it to me the day I left the hospital, and I slept on it until I was 17 years old, when it was left behind in the same ill-fated move. I could never sleep without that pillow as a child, as it was my security blanket. By the end, it was nothing more than a ball of stuffing housed in a pillowcase that was rapidly disintegrating. Being born in the winter made me a child of the winter. I was truly happy only when the days were short, the nights were long, and my teeth were chattering. I love the winter. Every year I long for it, look forward to it, even though I always feel as if it's turning me inside out. The beauty and loneliness of it hurts my heart and carries with it all the memories of every winter before. Even now, after having been locked in a cell for years, at the coming of winter I can still close my eyes and feel myself walking the streets, as everyone else lies in bed asleep. I remember how the ice sounded as it cracked in the trees every time the wind blew. The air could be so cold that it scoured my throat with each breath, but I would not want to go indoors and miss the magic of it. I have two definitions for the word magic. The first is knowing that I can affect change through my own will, even behind these bars. The other meaning is more experiential, seeing beauty for a moment in the midst of the mundane. For a split second, I realized completely and absolutely that the season of winter is sentient, that there is an intelligence behind it. There's a tremendous amount of emotional pain that comes with the magic of winter. But I still mourn when the season ends, like I'm losing my best friend. The first true memories I have of my life are of being with my grandmother Frances, whom I called Nanny. Her husband, Slim Gosa, had died about a year before. I recall him vaguely. He drove a Jeep, and I remember him being very nice to me. He died the day after my birthday. Nanny wasn't my biological grandmother. Slim had had an affair with a Native American woman who gave birth to my mother. My grandmother, unable to have her own children, raised my mother as her own. My parents, sister, and I had been living in different places in the Delta region, the corner where Arkansas, Tennessee, and Mississippi meet. After my sister was born, my mother felt she couldn't take care of 2 children. So Nanny and I lived in a small mobile home trailer in Senatobia, Mississippi. I remember the purple and white trailer sitting on top of a hill covered with pine trees. We had 2 large black dogs named Smokey and Bear, which we had raised from puppies. One of my earliest memories was of hearing the dogs barking and lunging against their chains like madmen as Nanny stood in the backyard with a pistol, shooting at a poisonous snake. She didn't stop shooting, even as the snake slithered its way under the huge propane tank in the backyard. Only in hindsight, years later, did I realize she would have blown us all straight to hell if she had hit the tank. At the time, I was so young that I viewed the entire scene with nothing but extreme curiosity.